Welcome to All Things Mental,
a podcast that honors the messy, beautiful, nonlinear journey of healing. Because healing isn't about fixing what's broken.
It's about discovering what you need in this moment and learning to trust yourself along the way.
Here, we share stories, resources, and reminders that you're never alone on your path.
So take a breath, lean in, and remember,
you are not broken.
You're just becoming a more beautiful version of your higher self. We're your co-hosts, Michele
and Liana,
here to remind you that
you're never alone
on your healing journey. Hello and welcome back to All Things Mental. Today we have a very special guest, my hypnotherapist, who I've talked about probably like on every episode of our podcast so far. She was my anxiety coach first, but welcome, Chelsea.
Oh, thanks, Michele. I am honestly so honored to be here, and I'm so proud of you, both of you, for launching this and doing the thing. I know this is going to help so many people.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I remember talking to you at the beginning of the year and we like put it into my subconscious.
Yep.
And here I am.
You're doing it and you're doing so great. Anytime I see those little snippets, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so great.
That's awesome. I love it so much. So we're just going to start off with explain your healing journey. Like how'd you get from like where you were to where you are now?
Yeah, so with my healing journey, it's so funny because I don't even look at it like a healing journey anymore. I kind of just look at it as life unfolding, right? Where it's like we're all born into this world and we're given our set of parents and potentially siblings, and we don't get to choose our house. We don't get to choose where we're living. We're just here. And, we have the subconscious, right? That is a sponge when we are born to 6, 7, some professionals say even 8 or 9 years old, and you are just soaking in your environment. You are soaking in your parents' habits, what they say to you, how they react in the world, as well as your siblings, as well as your teachers, as well as like everyone around you in your environment. You just begin to learn how to be human and how to stay safe. That's the most important thing. And so for me, like I grew up in a trailer park when I was born. I was born in New York, and then my dad was like, oh, I really need to get my life together. And so we moved to Tennessee so he could become an electrician. He lived in his car for months while he put my mom and I in a trailer park, and we lived there for the next 6 years as he was getting on his feet. He still does electrical work. He's like really big in his field now, but he started there because he wanted to provide for our family. But little Chelsea didn't know I was growing up literally in like poverty, like middle of Memphis, Tennessee. And then, just as we moved around, we came back to New York at some point, and we just kind of like jumped house to house. Like we lived in just a lot of places that my family had available for us. It wasn't until I got older that my parents were like, okay, we can get a house and like, we can stay here. And it was good. But, I just kind of like, I take everything, and, I do find that when I think about healing, I think about things that bothered me the most. And the things that always have bothered me the most were just things that were said to me or the way I was treated. But then I have to decide, do I want to like identify with this? Like, do I want to take this and allow this to hurt me forever? Or do I want to like, let this go? And, that's easier said than done. Like, I feel like there's phases to this. There's like, it's like an onion. You're just peeling back the layers. But yeah, I mean, I feel like my story could go on and on forever and ever. But as I got older and I realized like, okay, I want to help people. I went to school to go to nursing and I couldn't get into nursing. It was kind of serendipitous because I would have been a horrible nurse. My sister, on the other hand, she's amazing. She's a nurse and she does really great at that. But I hear the stories and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I could not do that. And so I ended up getting my psychology degree. But I remember sitting there, the whole plan was to go get my master's, go get a counseling degree, or counseling and master's. But I remember having like a mental breakdown during finals week. I'm like, I don't want to do this. This is just so crazy. I don't want to live in New York anymore. It is cold. It is dreary. I want to get out of here. And so when I graduated college, I moved to Florida, and I essentially started working online, aka trying to have an online business, and that was a fail for years and years. So I just kind of worked odd end jobs, whether it was bartending or working in a jewelry store. And yeah, I mean, I just feel like every stage of my life was something for me to like learn something from, and not to be like, oh, why did this have to happen to me? And I think that's the difference between people who are like happier and not, because there's just like, yeah, things are going to happen. They're going to happen. And that just sucks. It does. But you're either going to learn from it, or, you're going to sit in that and like really not have a great time. And so I choose to have a good time. and so now, fast forward, I'm 31 and I have my incredible daughter. Like, she is the light of my life. I've been with my husband for 9 years, and we love our life here in Florida. And, I always think about the future and what's next, but I've really been into living right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Liana talks all the time about, I don't remember what exactly it is that you say, but you've been
Like
saying
living a life worth living type of thing.
living a life worth living. You've been saying that like I'm starting to now live by that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, like have a rich life. That's like my, and it has nothing to do with money, really. I mean, money's great, but a rich life is what you're creating. It's like, it's the experiences. Like, of course, one day I would love to have a bigger house and a giant front porch and, a nicer car. Like, those things are great, but that's not I've learned very quickly that these things that we think are going to make us happy are very short-lived. What's really going to make us happy is the relationships that we have and how we feel inside of us. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I completely agree with that. I have relearned that achievements and doing is not the same as being, and being present and living your life like that, because it really doesn't matter. Like, I used to think that I needed to have a house or needed to own my own car out, no debts and anything like. And the truth is, I like being a renter for right now. I like having this top floor of an apartment house situation that me and my husband live in, and our 2 cats. And it's just a really special experience. And it's enough, like it's enough for now. And maybe that'll change in the future if we want to have a different situation. But I used to have so much inner shame of like, oh, but I don't own a house and I don't do this. And but then I'm like, but my life now is so full and I don't need to really be doing so much and trying to do so much.
Yeah, like I own a house and it's not all it's cracked up to be. Like I love it. Like, it's cheaper than rent because like I live near Walt Disney World, so like it's expensive to have an apartment near Disney in Orlando. So like we were looking, and apparently rent now is like almost an extra $1,000 than what we pay in our mortgage, and we pay a decent amount for our mortgage, and we do want to eventually sell and move up north, but we didn't know that when like we first moved in here, because we talked about this on a previous episode, Liana, where like we don't know. So like, yes, you can have a plan, but don't get annoyed if the plan changes, because life, like God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, like they have a plan for you, and that's what you just need to like trust.
Oh, that gives me chills. Yes, both of those things. Yes. Oh my gosh. I also rent, Liana, and I love it. You want to know why? Because something goes wrong. Ring, ring, ring. Can you come fix this?
Yeah.
And I get that though, where it's just like, oh, well, I'm in my 30s. I should have a house. I should have this. I should have this. And like, it eats at you. And this makes me think about purpose as well. Do you guys ever think about that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Like I've told you both this before, that like I never thought I would become a teacher, and yet here I am. I'm a teacher, and like I never expected my life to like become what it is now. Like Chelsea, you had mentioned that like, money, like yeah, obviously it's important, but like a rich life is more than that. And like I learned that honestly through you, like through all the programs I've done with you, because I feel like I've done like every single one of your programs, minus ones that were specifically for business, because I always jump in on the like early bird special deal. And my husband all the time will be like, oh, Chelsea just gave you a good deal because you guys have been working together for years. And it's like, no, I jump in on the deal. Like, she's never done that, babe.
I mean, for my clients I've been with for a really long time, obviously we have a more personal relationship, right? So, I mean, in that way, it's more special.
Yeah, like when you were sharing your story, I was like thinking in my head, yeah, I know, I knew most of this.
Yeah, yeah. But
So,
I was, just with things changing and stuff, I'm like, even with your purpose, like one day you might decide, hey, I want to do something else,
yeah,
and
exactly.
or like one day you're like, oh yeah, I actually want to move out of this house and move across the country, right? And so, I mean, it's just interesting, like with purpose, I think we put a lot of emphasis on it, and people get really stressed out, and people get really like they're like, oh my gosh, what am I here to do? Like, why am I on this planet? And that's a big loaded question for someone, because maybe your purpose on this earth is something that you don't even realize what it is while it's happening. Like, you could have changed someone's life or saved someone's life by being a kind person, and that was your purpose for that day, and you didn't
Yeah,
realize it.
yeah,
Yeah, I love that so much, because I used to always get really bogged down with this, like needing a sense of grandiose purpose and like, what am I here to do? What am I doing with my life? And now I realize that it's just to find the glimmers in the everyday, and just to really bring joy and light and love and spread that out. Like I'm a helper type person, and Enneagram 2, and I love being that. And I love now my current job where I'm helping people every day.
Oh, good.
like money is important, but like at the end of the day, it's what makes you happy and fulfilled. Like last year, I switched schools because of something that was happening, and I was told it was more money, and it turned out it wasn't. And I was freaking out about it. And I was talking to my husband about it, and he was like, if it's 200 a month, 200 a month less is worth it for your mental health. And I was just
Yeah.
like, I love you so much.
That right there. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, and let me ask you this. Sorry, I don't mean to be asking. You guys are
No, you
one
can
asking
go
questions.
for it. We were literally talking before you got on, and we were like, we have these questions listed out, but it's just gonna flow because like we're all about like being transparent and all of that, and we have questions, but like we're probably gonna have more, and you can ask questions. There's nothing against that. There's no rule.
Well, I'm just curious with this, like, you took a pay cut of $200. Have you seen randomly money come through that,
Yes,
like, yeah.
I have. I absolutely have.
Hmm.
All the time. Like, I mean, between like
You're an energetic
our
match.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And also between like doing the subconscious work to like program my subconscious to believe in like I money can come my way. Like I fall asleep every night to your sleep series. Like
Oh, yeah.
last night I was so cozy, and when my husband got home from work, he kissed me on the forehead. I'm like, "Hi, can you hit play? I'm too cozy to move," and I had it set up, but I got
Oh.
chosen by Sally, so I couldn't like, move.
It's like the best way to fall asleep too.
It really, really, really is.
Kitty, cozy,
Yeah, but
hypnosis.
that being said, what exactly is hypnosis?
Yes, let's talk about that. Awesome. So, okay, this is my little spiel of hypnosis, because hypnosis is good. There's nothing bad about hypnosis. So, all the things you've seen in Hollywood about mind control or blackouts or anything weird, that's just so false. Like, Hollywood has taken this, like, and not even just Hollywood, like, the stage shows and things like that. They put like such a weird negative light on hypnosis, and it makes people afraid to try it, understandably so. I
Yeah,
mean, and it makes me so mad, because truly this is like the most effective healing tool. So this is what it really is. It truly is just taking advantage of your theta brainwave. So we have 4 different brainwaves. We have the beta, which we're all in right now. We are conscious, we're aware, we're learning something new. Alpha is, we're a little bit more relaxed, we're daydreaming, we're thinking about things, like we're kind of lost in our thoughts or thinking about dinner. We're not focusing on anything. And that's when you can kind of start to see your automatic like thoughts, your automatic habits in that brainwave. But then in theta, so theta is that sweet spot. And so that's where hypnosis is able to make a huge impact, or the reason why you can have a huge impact is the theta brainwave, because then the last brainwave is delta, which is sleep. So in between alpha and delta is that theta brainwave. So you are really relaxed. And the reason you're so relaxed is just through verbal cues. So with hypnosis, I just guide you into a very relaxed state. It's very safe. You can come out of it at any time. You're not stuck. You're not going to, well, you could fall asleep if you are really tired. But for the most part, like I've never had that happen, even though I did think Michelle fell asleep one time.
Yes, one time I was dog sitting, and my parents' dog was in the room with me, and he had his head on the computer, and he starts snoring, and Chelsea goes, Michelle, like in her like hypnosis voice, Michelle, are you still there? I'm like, that's Eli.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. But yeah, she didn't fall asleep. Um, and so I put you in the theta brainwave on purpose. So I relax you into that state. And when you're in that state, your subconscious mind is available. We bypass that critical factor of your mind that is constantly telling you like, like, oh, well, what if, or whatever. Or even so, I just put a post up the other day of something that I worked on. Even when you know you're doing something and it's like it's not logical, and you keep saying like this is not real, like why are you freaking out, like, and your body is still panicking or you're still having the thing, it's because it's so rooted in your subconscious mind, and your subconscious is running 95% of your life. And so what hypnosis is basically getting you into that place where we can make neurological change so you can be free, essentially, or you can basically do anything you want. So a lot of people associate hypnosis with stopping smoking and losing weight, which both are very effective.
I used it for the weight one.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people do. I used it for that. Like I use hypnosis for everything. I'm like, why would I not? Why go against my own willpower? Because this is the thing that I like to say is, a lot of people think that they're lazy. A lot of people think that they're just like, they can never do this because they've tried before. They've tried over and over again to like lose weight or to do certain things or to be more confident or whatever it is. And they're just not going to be able to change it consciously like that. And it makes me so sad that this tool isn't more like well known, so people can realize like, hey, you don't have to live by the same subconscious patterns that were formed when you were like 4, right? And a lot of people are.
Yeah. Like through hypnosis, I have healed my relationship with money, and now I'm not scared of it anymore. I have like every other day money dates where I just kind of like look at my money, even if it's just going into like my PNC bank and just looking, or like having like a money date because I have like a spreadsheet that I got from my human design coach forever ago when she did like a program. And Chelsea's actually really good friends with her. But yeah, I mean, and I've also healed like through my subconscious, like being able to listen better. I think I told you that already, Liana, that like because of hypnosis, I'm able to do this and like listen more. And like, because I remember when I was a kid, I was told like, be quiet, do this, do that. So like I got to the point where like my brain was just like, okay, no one's going to listen to me. Why should I bother listening to them? And it's stuck in my subconscious.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember when you wanted to work on that, and I was so proud of you because, yeah, there would be times where I'm like, like trying to say something to you and I couldn't.
Yeah.
And yeah, but then you came to me with that. I never mentioned it, because I'm like, okay, whatever, it's your session, you use it however you want.
Yeah.
But wow, what a change happened. Like, I mean, it was like night and day. It was amazing.
It took like one session.
Self-awareness is amazing. You're so self-aware.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. So for those of us listening who may not be as familiar with hypnosis and based on what you described, I'm curious to know, like, it kind of sounds like a meditation, but like more purposeful. So would you be able to explain the difference between hypnosis and meditation?
Yeah, absolutely. So my mentor, Grace Smith, who is where I went through my hypnosis school, it's the top hypnosis school in the world. She explains it, and because I'm going to quote her, is that meditation or hypnosis is like meditation, but with a goal. So
Mm,
essentially, your goal with meditation is to get into that theta brainwave. So you're kind of just doing it yourself through your breath, which is really impressive if you can do that and do it every day. And I know for me and a lot of other people, we can't control our thoughts, and it's really hard for us to focus. And we get really frustrated when we try to do meditation, or it just feels really boring. And so we don't do it. And so with meditation, if that's your thing, I would say keep doing it. But if you're wanting something a little bit more guided and still getting the same benefits of meditation and the result that you're looking for, try hypnosis, because all it really is like the difference is literally just me guiding you to a certain outcome through, and you're relaxing and you're going to that parasympathetic state and your body is healing and it's all good. With meditation, you're kind of just being here in the now, which is fine. And I think it's good. I know for me, I didn't really like meditation, just because I felt like, okay, I think people can resonate more. And, we live in America too. We are always wanting to progress towards something, right? And so it feels more productive to do hypnosis as well, because you're doing it for an outcome. But both are great, and it's just that's the difference. It really is just like hypnosis is more goal oriented, and then meditation is like do it yourself. Good luck.
mm.
Yeah. Yeah. That was beautifully said. That's yes.
What type of goals do you work on in hypnosis? Like, can it be any type of goal, like you were saying earlier, like weight loss or quitting smoking or money mindset, or like, can it be really anything?
Absolutely anything, because what your subconscious is holding on to who you are as a person in a nutshell. Everything you so this is how I also like to explain it is like anything that you think, any actions that you're doing, the way that your money currently looks, the way that your relationships look, the way that you feel about yourself, that is all just subconscious programming that you can change. Now, it's not, I always like to say it's not magic. The stat on hypnosis is incredible, but it's still, you have to it's like you're not going to go to the gym once and like have biceps, right? And so with hypnosis, though, it's proven that 6 sessions, you can see a 93% improvement. And that's compared to psychoanalysis, this is crazy, 600 sessions for a 38% improvement. That's nuts. And then people may be more aware of behavior therapy. I might be saying this one wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's behavior therapy. And that one's a 77% improvement for something like 60 sessions or something like that. And so it's just like all that to say is that hypnosis is extremely effective in the shortest amount of time.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's miraculous.
It
Yeah.
really it really is. And it's super powerful. Like you basically have already answered one of our questions was has it helped you and your clients, which it basically is going to be answered throughout like this whole entire podcast episode. But how has it impacted you as a mom?
Oh, yeah. So before, that's a really great question. Um, before I had her, I was very pregnant, and man, I was so nervous that I wouldn't be able to have this business that I love very much and be a mom. I didn't know how I was going to be able to do both. It was important to me to be with my daughter and like have her here with me. But I also love what I do. I love my career. I love my clients. Like I love you guys and I love what I do. I love creating hypnosis scripts. I love creating content. That's just who I am. It's just so natural for me. And I didn't want to give that up. I was like, oh, and so I sat with my hypnotherapist and, we worked through it mentally. And so when she was here, I took about 2 full months off to heal. Holy cow. I did not realize what it was like to have a baby come out of you like that. And you're like, oh, girl, like it was like a whole thing. But once I was healed, I started taking on clients very slowly. And it was like such a relief to connect back with people who I love, right? And, doing the thing that I love. And so that was really nice. So I got back with that slowly. But in other ways that it impacted me, like I know when it's been really hard, as much as I love being a mom and my daughter is the light of my life, I mean, there's just some days that are really, really, I'm not going to say hard. It's just it tries you, it tests you,
Yeah.
it it tries to break you down. But, and it's just like you look at this little baby and you're like, I love you so much. Why are you acting like this? you know? And it's just like they're just growing and they're being a human. And it's so important to me, obviously, to like give her like strong subconscious patterns. So I have to really like check myself sometimes. She just learned she loves to say no, which is hilarious. But because it's so funny, you could ask her like the silliest question. She's like, no, no, like she's so serious about it. But yeah, hypnosis allows me to relax. It allows me to reset and regulate. And then so I can come back and be the mom I want to be.
And it can take as little as 5 minutes. Like your audios go from 5 minutes to 30, and the 30s are the ones that put you to sleep. So like literally, like I think the first 15, maybe 20 minutes, if that, you're doing a script, but the rest of it is just relaxing music playing.
Yeah, I always think, and maybe I can ask you this because, so I'm technically a Manny Gen, and so like I kind of like things fast, right? I know you've been really loving the 5 minute ones, but I'm like, man, I wonder if people want them longer, like 20 minutes, 25 minutes for a regular audio, or do
You could
people not have time for that?
like some of the ones that you have as like refreshers in there. So for those of you who don't know, like a refresher is like basically like anywhere from like 5 to 6 minutes. Chelsea has one called Happy Place. It's literally like my favorite one, and I posted in the Hypno Besties the other day, which by the way, that reminds me of like Shine Within, but for hypnosis. That was the program that Chelsea originally did. And like I said, I've done like basically everything. But like
That was a long time ago.
the Happy Place, yeah, that was during the pandemic. Like that was when I first got into self-development. It was like crazy and insane. But like the Happy Place one, no joke, I swear it's the hypnosis that's going to help me heal my depression. Like I
Oh.
really, really, really feel like it's gonna. And I posted in Hypnobesties about that, and you like commented. I didn't even plan on adding it, and now I'm so glad I did.
Yeah, no, I really wasn't. It was like a last minute thing. It kind of just came to me and like that gives me chills because I don't think anything is a coincidence. And so like if you needed that and I didn't realize you may not even known you needed that, right? Because you've already told me the audios that you wanted in there.
Yeah,
Because I asked my
I'm a
clients like, what do
child.
you want in there?
I
I want to make
want
these for
stuff.
you.
And
Um, the happy place is great.
yeah, and the really cool part also too, when you do like a one-on-one session with a hypnotherapist, and as Chelsea mentioned, like she has a hypnotherapist because you cannot hypnotize, you can hypnotize yourself, but with
You
an
can.
audio,
Yeah.
and you can do self-hypnosis, but
Mhm.
that like takes way, way, way longer. And
It's not
Chelsea
necessarily
also
longer. It's just like,
longer.
so let me say this really quick because
Okay.
so there is self-hypnosis, the audios, and then one-on-one. And so
Yeah.
the difference between like so when I was talking about the effectiveness of 93% with 6 sessions, that's one-on-one. But if you were to listen to an audio, it can take 60 to 90 days of like basically 5 to 7 days a week of listening to that audio. Um, and sometimes sooner, like people really do see really quick results with me, but that's the stats. So 60 to 90 days with an audio. And then with self hypnosis, it's kind of like the same thing. Again, it's to be a more disciplined, like someone who meditates, like you kind of have to, you can put yourself into a self hypnosis. All like you literally just have to like mentally guide yourself. Anyone can I mean, you go into the theta brainwave naturally every day. I forgot to mention that earlier. You go into theta naturally all day long. And so for me, it's just like I'm putting you there on purpose. And so, that's the whole difference. And so you can put yourself there on purpose and then put in new affirmation or new suggestion. And so, but that does take a little bit longer to receive the results than one-on-one. And so I just wanted to add that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. It makes me think about like just an experience I had yesterday where I felt myself in like a triggered mindset. I haven't really gotten triggered in quite some time. So I was like, whoa, I'm acting from a place of like deep anger and I don't know really where this is coming from. And like I'm not sure. And it kind of stemmed from something at work where I was like doing a specific task and I had to be really precise, and then I made a mistake and I needed whiteout, and it was like a whole thing. And I'm like, oh my God. So I think I made this subconscious program or a story, based on a program, I guess, of me not feeling like if I made a mistake, then I would be enough or worthy type of thing. Like I wasn't allowed to make mistakes, I guess. And that's what it brought up. And then that kind of carried into the evening. And then I proceeded to make another mistake at home. And I was like, oh my God, like this is just not my day. And I guess like what would be your advice for like whether it's just in your experience in healing or like with hypnosis, like how could I get myself out of like a triggered state? Like would I ideally have paused and probably went and gone somewhere and like maybe just listen to an audio or something? Or like what would you think I should have done in that situation if anyone's been triggered or has been in that situation where they need like extra support, like kind of like on demand?
Yeah, no, that's really good. And I'm sorry that you had that experience, and I want everyone to know that even the people that you think have it all together, like they also have moments where they're triggered, right? I have those moments and this is what I do. And this is what like I would ideally want my clients to do as well. It's like when you found yourself getting in this moment of like, oh my gosh, I made a mistake. There's several routes that you could do this. If this is something that you saw all the time where it's like, you just beat yourself up over mistakes and it's just like something that's over and over and over again, I would suggest to someone like, okay, let's get you and figure out why this is happening and then change the pattern because mistakes are okay. Like we know that logically, but our subconscious is like, this is not safe, right? Whether it's like you got in trouble as a little girl or like, someone said something to you or embarrassed you, right? And so it could be from anything. And it's like, it doesn't feel safe to make a mistake, right? But then for that moment right there, I would, obviously I'm like, I always tell people like, so when I used to have panic attacks like every single day, this was before I even had hypnosis, I would go into the bathroom or my car and I would breathe and I would tap. So that was like a big thing that I could do pretty much anywhere. But now, I mean, like if I could step away and lay down or like go in my car or like, you could even do it in the bathroom, and just like put your headphones on and like listen to a 5-minute refresher. Like it really is that reset. But sometimes I will say with hypnosis is that like, you're already in that like heightened state and like, to really calm yourself down in that moment and like listen to something that can be hard. And so I would just really take an intentional few deep breaths, like relax your jaw, release your shoulders, let go of your stomach as you breathe in, like really take 3 intentional breaths in and just remind yourself, like, I am safe. Like you just can say that I am safe. Like all is well in this moment, all is well. And then you kind of just like, I like to shake it off too. Like, this energy that's inside of us is very real. And so I'm like, get out of here, just like you just shake it off and like, and then, you can do like, I think I've told you this before too, Michelle, just like, you could thrash on the bed or you can like punch something like literally this like energy that's inside of us. Like, it's just get it out some way.
You
Crying,
suggested screaming into a pillow
crying.
before. So, I mean, like,
Screaming in a pillow. There's like, depending on where you are, obviously you have to like, but I think so. I guess to put it into like a step by step, like, make sure you walk away, take a few deep breaths. That would be the first thing. If you're still feeling a little weird, do like a tapping sequence. I think that's really helpful to kind of like regulate yourself. And I used to just like pull up YouTube, be like tapping for anxiety or tapping for just a quick release. And I love tapping for that when you're already in a heightened state because it kind of really helps like release that energy as well. And then, third thing, shake it off. That would be my suggestion in those moments.
Yeah, thank you so much. I haven't felt like that in like probably a year or longer, and it's like it just kind of came over me, and I was like, oh my God, like I don't remember what to do. It's been so long.
yeah,
So thank you for that tip and advice. I appreciate it. I'm sure our listeners would appreciate it as well.
Yeah.
I've been there too. Like, I mean, like, I haven't suffered from a panic attack, anxiety attack, whatever you want to call it, in years. And I had one like a couple of months. No, not this point. It's probably about a year ago. And I remember being so annoyed. And I remember my husband saying, "It's okay." When was the last time you had one? I was like, I don't know, like several years ago. And he goes, okay, so we'll just celebrate when you get to 5 or 6 years it's been since your last one, because it had basically had been about that long. So
Yeah, and never beat yourself up when we have those moments. Again, I get triggered.
we're
I do.
human.
We're human and, we get upset and like sometimes like yesterday I was really overstimulated because of everything that was happening with my daughter and just like we were out in a crowded space and I was like, "Oh my gosh, get me out of here." And so we went somewhere where we could cool down. It was also weirdly hot yesterday after being really cool. And so all that to say, like, we stepped out. We went somewhere cool where we could sit, take a breather, have a nice cold drink, and just like regulate ourselves and like, go back and to the world.
Yeah. Also, something else that I want to mention about hypnosis is when you do a one-on-one session, like different parts come up. It could be like an inner child. It could be like something like random. I remember one session with Chelsea, like it. Chelsea always asked like, "What does this part want to be called?" And there was one time where the name I came up with was so ridiculous. I heard Chelsea try not to laugh because she was like, "Of course, that's what it's called." Okay, that's what we're going with. But like it helps it. And then you can either like give it a new job or release it altogether. Like those are the two options that you're given in hypnosis.
So parts therapy is really a really big thing that I love to use in my sessions. And so essentially, the idea of it is like, let's just kind of build on the mistake thing since we've brought it up. And I know it's something that you haven't dealt with in a long time, but, just say like, it's the part of you that hates making mistakes, or a part of you that feels shameful when you make mistakes, or the part of you that's experiencing anxiety, the part of you that smokes, the part of you that binge eats at night. Like it's just like this idea that it's a part of you, it's not who you are. And I love that because even before I was a hypnotherapist, my big thing was like, stop identifying with these things that you don't like. Stop saying that you're an anxious person. You are experiencing anxiety. You are not anxious. It's not in your DNA. It's not, you're just experiencing it right now. And I think that's a really big difference. And so with hypnosis, I don't really explain it this way, obviously, with my clients, because it kind of, your brain is so intelligent, it does it itself. So when you're able to finally separate yourself from the problem that you've been experiencing, it's just like, okay, like now you're having a conversation with this part. And the subconscious is very childlike. It's very creative. It's very like, so when you're in that theta brainwave, your creativity like shoots through the roof, your problem solving abilities shoot through the roof. And so you're able to have like a mindful conversation with this part. And I've seen some crazy things, parts come through in a lot of different ways. Everyone experiences it differently. Michelle, I've told you this before, you have a very detailed, like subconscious minds. Like it's very vivid and like, but some people don't see it like that. Like, and I'm one of those people. I don't see things very vividly. And so everyone's subconscious is very different. But yeah, you can have a conversation with this part. And sometimes, yeah, it's past versions of you, but other times it's just like the most random thing you could ever think about. Like I know for me, when I was working on no longer drinking, my part was a rock with glasses. And so just to kind of give you an example of like what could come through. And then, yeah, you have a conversation. And then, so basically your idea is like, okay, you're either going to have to like pack a bag and like, let this part be free. Essentially, all I'm trying to do is get your subconscious mind to stop identifying with this part, to either transform it into something else, whether it's giving it a new job or, just something else, or making it leave. And so you're just like, okay, goodbye, I'm done with you. And then that separation to your subconscious is like, oh, that actually wasn't keeping us safe. We can be this way. Because then after that, I have you visualize what you wanted to see in the first place, or what you're wanting to be in the first place or do.
Wow, that's awesome. I resonate so much with everything that you've shared. Just in my experience with working with coaches and going through my own coaching certification and such, like quite literally, I remember rewiring so many of my subconscious programs. And then, as you think you've quote unquote healed, as we know, healing isn't linear, it's a journey. And just like I said last night, yesterday afternoon, like I felt triggered and like had to work through that. And well, actually, I have to spend some time and figure out like really what was going on, and then maybe do some journaling or whatever I want to do. Maybe I'll try some hypnosis,
Yeah.
just to see what I can do, because like it's just it's tough when those parts come up, but then we just got to give them grace and love, because they are just a part of us. They're not the whole us, like you said. So I love that.
Yeah, and it's so funny too because for sure there's some people that really need to give these parts love, like, and like I think everything's healed with love. But then I have some clients that really need to have tough love on these parts. Like, no, you can't come into my life like this. You can't be doing this to
Mhm.
me, But some people, it depends on the person, and you kind of have to gauge people and see where they're at, and like, and it's just funny because everyone's so individual for what they need.
Yeah, I've done both. I've had to give tough love or like soft love. It just depends. And the one vision or part that came up was like it looked like I remember saying to you, it looks like Groot, but it's a girl.
Oh
And
yeah,
then when we healed it, it just grew grass and flowers, and I still want to get that tattooed on me. Like
yeah.
I still have that picture in my mind, and I want my friend who's such a good artist to draw it. And I was explaining it to them, and they were like, what the heck, Michelle? And I'm like, can you just attempt to draw it? Because like I don't want to, I want to like go in with it, and I trust you because like you're one of my best friends. So I have to message them and be like, hey, do you remember that time I asked you to, because I still want to get that tattooed on me.
That's
I
Wow.
don't
really
remember what
cool.
we were working on. I just remember that it was the most vivid one, like, and I do have a very vivid like imagination and vivid subconscious. And when we release some parts, I sometimes picture putting the suitcase into a cannon and shooting it into
Oh
a
my
volcano.
god.
Like, no joke. Like when you mentioned earlier that like we're like an onion,
Funny.
my brain automatically went to Shrek. Like ogres are like onions.
Oh,
We have a lot of layers.
That's
I
an iconic
love
line.
cannon. Oh
It's
my
such
gosh,
a good
that's
one.
awesome. I'm gonna
Yeah.
use that. I love that. Well, because like, I kind of get bored. Like, oh, you can throw it in a fire, you can throw it in the sun. I like that a lot more. Put it in a cannon, throw it in a volcano.
Yeah, like I don't think it was one I've done like with you one on one, because I would have mentioned it to you, but I think it was like one of like the because like when you do a audio, something different can come up each time. Like I've done Happy Place twice now, and the first time it was this rock in my backyard, but was like big enough for me to sit on, so basically a boulder. And then the next time it was just like a random like mountain cabin place that I want to like I think and I subconsciously someday want to own a cabin that is overlooking like a mountain and a lake. Like my parents own a cabin in Maine, but there is no mountain. So
Oh, well, you
like
can absolutely do that.
yeah,
But you see,
exactly.
you can achieve.
Exactly. You can achieve just about anything. But like those are the two. But like both times I went into my subconscious with the happy place audio, I was expecting to be in Maine in my parents' cabin.
Mm,
And then it was always something different. And I remember when I first started doing hypnosis, I would get annoyed when my brain went someplace else. But now I just kind of like
mhm.
accepted it. Like, no, no, just go with the flow. Go with the flow.
Yeah. That's a really big thing, and so a lot of people are surprised with, like, "I wasn't expecting to see that," or, "I wasn't expecting to go there. I wasn't expecting this memory to come up," I'm trying like, just recently, I had this client who was, dealing with, procrastination. And, the memory that came up was, this like rivalry between her and her siblings. And, just this feeling of not being heard. And she was crying, and she forgot like that hurt little girl that felt so much pain, like from not being heard. And then she came out of that session being like, wow, something just clicked for me, because we were able to heal that moment. And we realized, because she was like, I acted out as a little girl and I did it for attention. And, how could I do that? I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, you're a little kid. You were supposed to be taught how to, like, react to your emotions. But a lot of us, 90% of us were not given that luxury because our parents weren't given that luxury, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so, we're kind of just like now breaking the cycle. So when, we do have children or have children, we can teach them new patterns.
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely.
Oh, that's so special.
So before we wrap up, because I feel like we talk about this the whole entire time, we have a guest question that we want to ask all guests that come on the show. Liana, would you like to ask it?
Sure. If you could go back to a moment you were struggling mentally on your journey, what would you say to yourself knowing what you know now?
Hmm. Yeah. What moment should I choose?
So many to choose
Yeah.
from.
I think the biggest thing that comes up for me personally is when I was younger, like, I wanted to be the most beautiful. I wanted to be the most special. I wanted people to notice me. And sometimes to get that attention, it wasn't good for anything, right? It was just like, it was a mess. Um, and so I would go back and tell her that, wow, like you have no idea how good it's going to get. Like, just be a kid, just be a kid, allow yourself to like your little quirks and, be yourself. Who you are is enough. And man, because I know for my daughter, so this is what I want, because right now I see my daughter, for example, if there's like music out in the world, she's going to go up and she's going to dance, she's going to twirl, like she's going to move her body. She's a year and a half. And it's the most precious thing to
And
me.
she's so smart.
She's
Like,
so smart. Yeah.
Chelsea shared something the other day on her story about how she was on the phone, I think it was with your sister or your
Mm,
mom, and
yeah.
they were talking about her daughter. And her daughter just turned around and said, "Thank you."
Hmm.
To the fact that
Yeah.
they were talking about how well behaved she is. And I was like, that's
Yeah.
adorable.
Yeah, I always try to, in front of my daughter, talk to other people about how wonderful she is, how much I love being with her, how much, she's like a light to me, what a good kid she is. These are things that I like to tell her. Or like to say around her, not even to her, but also to other people so she can hear. But yeah, when she dances in the world, I never want the world to take that away from her. I always want her to be the person that hears music and dances. And so if I could tell myself, it's just like, stop, don't let the world tell you who you are, be who you are.
Oh,
Wow.
I just got chills. That
Oh my
was
God, me too.
so like,
Yeah, it's just like
yeah.
my daughter has made me realize so much about a lot of stuff.
My quirks make you who you are. Like, I remember growing up and being excited over the tiniest little things. And now I'm at a point in my life, this is something my therapist suggested, is writing down my glimmers. So I write down my glimmers at night because she was like, you already journal at night about your day. So why don't you just add in your glimmers? And it forces your brain to think about the positive in the day versus, ugh, I spilt my coffee on me this morning. Ugh, this person wasn't listening to me. Ugh, ugh, ugh. No, like, focus on the good and good will come.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I try to tell my students all the time to like embrace their quirks, embrace who they are. Like, if they are good at drawing, I tell them, oh my God, you're so good, keep going. Like, I encourage it because you had mentioned earlier that like 7 or 8 is about, might be around when like your subconscious is like finalized. So I have my students basically the last year their subconscious is being reprogrammed, and I don't take that task lightly.
Yeah, and that's so wonderful. And I do just want to add, like your formative years are like birth to 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
That's when you're just like you're in theta. Like your other brainwaves don't even exist yet, really, or like they're starting to exist as you get older. But I will say that as you grow and you have like big experiences, accidents, divorce, big things, or even like, friend breakups, like anything that feels really big and unsafe, like your subconscious stores that as well.
Yeah.
So it's not like, it's 6 and then you're like, you are who you are. It's like your
Yeah. Yeah.
experiences in life, like would definitely still shape you as you continue to grow.
And how you
Just add
react
that.
when you get
Yeah.
older and your subconscious is programmed.
Yeah, the bulk of it is when you're like young, but you still have some experiences in life. Like we're still going to have experiences that shape us in our subconscious. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. That's really special. Thank
I
you.
really appreciate you all having me on.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Before we wrap up, where can our followers, viewers find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Uplevel Society Hypnosis, and my big thing right now is my Hypno Besties. You can also find me on Instagram at Hypno Besties, and that is my membership where you can find all the audios and all the new challenges, and you can find free hypnosis as well in my bio.
Her
Thank
free
you so much.
hypnosis are awesome, and her paid ones are even more awesome. I said this before. You're the Taylor Swift of
Oh my gosh, you're so
podcasts.
sweet.
Listen. It's the truth. When you said "shake it off" earlier, I was like, "Yep, yep."
Yeah.
Aw,
I
amazing.
feel like Taylor. I'm not like a diehard Swiftie fan, but yeah, that was a high compliment, so I appreciate that.
Aw. Well, thank you so much. We look forward to speaking with you again in the future, hopefully on maybe another episode where we come back. But otherwise, for now, thank you so much, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on.
Of course.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of All Things Mental.
Please follow us on social media at All Things Mental Podcast to let us know how this episode helped you on your healing journey.
Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts so that you don't miss an episode.
And remember,
You are not broken
you're just becoming a more beautiful version
of your higher self.